Good day, YouTube. It is the 2nd of November, 2024, and this is Herbie. Why do you think it's Herbie? You'll have to figure that one out on your own. This is a 2010 Yamaha Drive G29 gas cart. I picked this up at my golf cart guys. Golf cart guy. Do you have a golf cart guy? I have a golf cart guy. Anyway, they took it in trade or something, and it has issues. And I tell them if they get a Yamaha, either a Drive or Drive 2, and it has issues that they don't want their techs to deal with, because they sell new other brand carts, and their techs are putting new accessories and such on new carts that they don't have time to fiddle with these. They let me know what you got, and I'll make a decision on my end whether to take it on or buy it from them and deal with it on my own. So this was a little beyond what they wanted to do. They said the clutch is bad and it doesn't run. Well, they said it didn't run. It actually does run. It just runs not very good. So we need to clean the fuel system, clean the carburetor, and replace the clutch. Okay, so I've got a clutch, and I think it's time we get this thing running properly and get the clutch done. So let's start digging into the clutch, and we'll put it up on the lift. I was thinking, yeah, somebody's already cut a slot out. This clutch has been off there before, but it's not been replaced. It's a stock clutch that somebody might have worked on. But when you start this up, in fact, when you crank it over, it's already driving forward, so that clutch is engaging way too early. We put a clutch in that 08 cart not too long ago, a few videos ago. So I won't go into a ton of detail. These aren't too hard to work on, especially if you've already made clearance in that plastic floor piece. These will be pretty easy to change the clutch in. So I've got a clutch, I've got a belt. Let me grab those real quick. So there's the new clutch and a new belt. These were just Amazon purchases. Make sure your clutch comes with a new bolt, because it's a different bolt than what your cart's got in it currently. So we're going to dig in, open the seat, take the seat off, take the battery out, and go ahead and pull that clutch and belt. And let's get that thing changed. Once we get that changed, I think we'll pull the carburetor off, pump all the fuel out of this thing, make sure the tank is clean, or clean it if it's not, and get the fuel system 100%, put some non-ethanol fuel in it, or better. Sometimes I go to the airport, get some avgas when I know they're going to sit for a while. Non-ethanol fuel, if you're going to sit for about a year or something, that's good. All my generators have non-ethanol fuel in them, but I change it out every year because some of my generators don't get used. So I've got these 5. I have a couple that do get used a lot in my van, a 2000 and a 1000. I bought this one a couple years ago for $275, and I use it because it's the cheapest one of the bunch, because some of those I bought new. I just use it all the time. So this thing gets a ton of hours on it, and why not? It works perfectly. I changed the oil in it mid-season. We just did a Halloween thing here with the van, where I had to run fog machines on my 2000. I got a couple fog machines down here somewhere. Yeah, a couple fog machines. And my van on my music, scary music, on the 1000. So anyway, these all get non-ethanol fuel without exception, and all the other ones that don't get run during the year, I change them out. Thanksgiving Day, I'm out here cooking stuff anyway, so this is my non-ethanol fuel. I just put non-E on my cans, non-ethanol fuel, and these are regular fuel. Anyway, keep a lot of gas. But sometimes I run to the airport and get avgas when they potentially will sit more than a year, because not avgas will last 5 years easily, probably longer. Okay, sorry I digress, but that's the way I roll. Okay, let's get the battery out of this thing. Let's get the clutch out of this thing. Get the new clutch in it. We'll get through the fuel system. And this thing should run and drive great. And then we can figure out what we're going to create here. Because of what I'm doing with this machine, I'm not going to spend the moon on it. There'll be no recouping on this guy. So I'm going to find probably the 4 best tires that match. Get everything all cleaned up. And because the 08 cart's getting new wheels and tires on it, I'm going to pull those Krager hubcaps off on the 4 best tires I can find in everything I've got and put on this cart. We'll get upholstery coming, custom steering wheel, and kind of go from there. Probably just do some touch up, probably going to do some graphics and things on this cart, and then this cart will be complete, and then we can move on to what we're going to do with it. Okay, so let's get to it. Boys and girls, this is my setup. I didn't actually pull the battery out. I've got this cutout done by last guy that pulled this clutch out of here. Kind of hacked it, but it looks like a hacksaw, exactly. So I threw my chain wrench on it. I put a bungee cord on it, so hopefully it'll stay there. I'm going to lift the lift up and try and get a short extension that's a 22 millimeter socket, fits that bolt, and see if we can undo that with a ratchet. Here we go. Okay. Somewhere in there. All right, it's going to be all hands. All right, that was actually very easy. I went with can you see in there? I went with a long extension and a universal joint, and it really wasn't even that tight. So, yeah, it's coming right out. Okay, so we're gonna let this down, finish pulling the clutch. All right, it's the best camera angle I can get you. I don't think we need a chain wrench no more. We tighten it because we do gotta torque this. I can't remember, I think it's like 40 pounds or something to torque it. I'll have to double check that. I don't think I got a belt for the starter generator. That was stupid, because it doesn't look very good. So we're gonna have to. All right, I got the bolt out. It won't come all the way out on its own, but with the clutch out of the way it should. I'm going to need to loosen up the starter generator to get the tension off the belt so we can pull that. So let me do that. Okay, got these big bolts loose. I'm backtracking a little bit. That was a 17 millimeter. You gotta loosen up this guy here, 12 millimeter. And this is the adjuster, 10 millimeter. And then you can pull that belt and it'll bring the generator back, give you slack, you could take the belt off. Now then, I've been working on trying to get the clutch off. I've been kind of prying, I've been tapping with a big hammer, and so far no results. I've done this before. I have another video on the other cart. I'm gonna go back and look at my own video, see what I did to get that clutch to let go. It's a tapered shaft. I dropped a long 1/2 inch extension down on top of the hub for the clutch and kind of hit it with a hammer, thinking it would shock it loose. It has not. I've tapped on the side of the clutch with a 2-pound hammer. It did not free it up. And not really room for a puller in there. Okay, I'm gonna go dig into my old video, see what I did. Not sure where my head is today. They make a tool for that. I used it last time. I have the tool. What am I doing? I don't know. I keep it right here. The tool. Yeah, what was I thinking? I don't know. Anyway, you got to be able to get this in, and there's not enough clearance to get it in at the moment. Somebody had cut that all out, but dang, they didn't cut it out enough. So I'm going to whittle on that floor piece just a little bit. And this is a tool. You just thread this in there and it pops it out. My head wasn't screwed on this morning. All right, let me get to that. All right, boys and girls, I ended up pulling the battery out like I should have done in the first place. But then, you know, somebody cut that out, and I thought, well, if they were going to cut it out, they cut it out enough to do everything, but was not the case. So we pulled a bolt out of right there. There's one right in the center of the battery box. There are 12 millimeter heads on those bolts. I think it's going to take like a 25 millimeter socket. I got a 26. I don't own a 25. And I've lifted the battery box up and I've slid like a 1-inch socket underneath there, right there, just so that it lifts that plate out of the way. So I've got a socket on there that I think will work. 1/2-inch drive. We're going to try it with the Milwaukee. I'm not going to put the chain wrench on it for a moment anyway. We're going to just try it by hand, holding it by hand. Probably not going to be able to see much because my tripod is only so tall. But we'll walk you through this. We'll see what happens. Like that. Well, that's not gonna make it. All right, we're going to extreme measures. Probably something that resembles a breaker bar and a chain wrench. So I'll get that set up. Here we go. Okay, that did the trick. Just a breaker bar with a socket on it. Kind of fit in there, and just took a little bit of turning, and you know, she's loose. So the chain wrench did its job. Now it's kind of stuck. It's going to take both hands to get it off there. So we'll get this tool out of here. We'll get this clutch out of here. We'll get the new one on it and the new belt. I have a feeling that belt that's on this thing is a little short. But you know what kind of happens at golf courses? You know, they parts are parts, new, used, or otherwise. Just keep them going, right? These things only got to last another year or so, right? Although this one had real clean oil and stuff in it, so it's had good maintenance. It wasn't super dirty. So that tells me good things about the engine. There's no leaks or anything. It's in real good shape. These Yamaha engines are solid. Except we did put a head gasket in that last one now, didn't we? Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me get that out of here. I started walking away with the belt and forgot to record. We got the clutch out of here. Sitting right there. I saved the last one of these, and I'll probably save this one too. You can go through and rebuild these, but the new clutches are like $150, and they're just better than these ever were. So kind of roll with it. I'm going to take a couple hands to get that drive belt out of here. Pretty sure that that belt is a little short, or maybe wrong belt or something. Anyway, but I got to get a starter generator belt. This thing's in way worse shape than I thought. I'm going to look through. I got a bunch of stuff here. Might have one pretty close. And I do have one of those belt measure tools, so we can check. So I'll look around, see what I got, and then know if I need to run for a belt or not. But yeah, I got this tool here. Demco V-belt measuring gauge. Yeah, let me see what I got, and I'll get back when we start putting that clutch back in. Here we go. All right, it's time to put the new clutch in. I got a belt, but I couldn't get a new one. Uh-oh. Dropping parts. Nobody in town had a new belt, but I have one off the 08 that's in like new condition, so we're using it. Sorry, I dropped a bolt. So, here's the new clutch. Let's not drop that. Bolt and washers, a new belt. So let's take this old belt off of here. Whatever that takes. Sort of being a pain in the butt. Ay, ay, ay. Alright. And it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't work well. So off it goes. I mean, it's too dang grabby. So there's this rubber plug on the end of the clutch. You gotta pop that off. Let's get this new belt in position. Here it is. It's kind of got its own shape. Generator belt. There's the plug. Oh yeah, it's got a bolt in it that's got to come out. I guess they put it in there to hold everything together. So I gotta take it off somehow. Find a wrench that fits it. And them ain't it. Yeah. the way I have the camera positioned, it is not accessible. All right, a 15/16 socket. Took that bolt out of here. Now, see if we can put this on. Come on, it's all tight in here. Yeah, come on now. There we go. Get it spread out enough. Start our generator belt on. Come on now. Okay. Now, that long bolt that came with the kit, the washers, came with the kit. I should have determined what size socket that took before I did that. It was 19 millimeter. Is a perfect fit. Now we can slide it back in there. Sure if it's going or not. I don't know. Nope. Let me fight it for a minute then. Alright, couldn't make that happen with the belt on. I couldn't collapse the clutch enough to engage the bolt. So I pulled the belt off, got the bolt in. It's finger tight. We got to torque it yet. I got to look up the torque specifications. Oh, it was easier than I thought it was going to be. Slip this belt on. Yep. Okay, and we got to tighten the junk. Maybe I should have done that till I torqued it. I think we're okay. Okay. Let me look up the torque. I'm going to put the chain wrench on this thing. We'll torque that down and we'll get the generator belt tightened up. Get this thing done. Alright gang, this is how I accomplished the torque. I did get it torqued. 25 foot-pounds is what I torqued it to. Actually, just a little over. So, yeah, got the socket in like this. Okay. And then grabbed a hold of my chain wrench. Got her torqued. The old clutch said 30 Nm. Is that Newton meters? I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I looked up what 30 Newton meters is in foot-pounds. It was like 22 or something. So I set the torque wrench to 25 and then went just a tad over, but she should be good. All right, we're going to tighten up the generator and call this one complete clutch job. All right, now that we got the clutch done, I think we'll fire it up. It doesn't run well. I'm pretty sure we need to go through the carburetor, get all the fuel out of it. That'll be next. If y'all have a Yamaha cart, just FYI, they'll take same key. One of these carts I got didn't have a key, so I ordered like 4 of them on Amazon for $10 or something like that. So anyway, we've got extras. Because I've been sharing a key for a minute. Because I didn't have spares. Okay. Key in. We're in neutral, sorta. Chokage. Oh, I don't have a battery in it. You dummy. Yeah, no battery. I haven't even bolted the floor down yet. What am I thinking? Let's fire it up again. Now that we got the battery back in it, I've been kind of charging it because I want to test it, the battery. Make sure it's decent. It looks decent, but what the looks tell you about a battery. Okay. So I just want to demonstrate how poorly it runs, and hopefully we fix that. The oil in this thing looks good, like it was just changed. I can't remember the air filter. I think it also looked good, but we'll check it again. And then we'll have a look at the spark plug as well. Make sure it isn't some off-brand or something. And then we'll pump out the tank. There's not much in it. We'll get the carburetor off of it if we feel we need to. Probably going to. And go from there. Fire and hold. Lord. Choke. No choke. So in more like idle mode, it kicked off. I have a feeling the main jet's mostly plugged. That's what the symptoms are. So I can't remember, so let's look at the air filter. It's got to come off anyway. Looks nice. Looks new. Pre-filter. Beautiful. Little dirt down in there. Okay. So, need to pull the air box off. Kind of a pain because on the carburetor the bolts are down in there and it kind of beats my hands up. But a couple 10 millimeters off over here. So let me get that off. We'll get the carburetor off. Kind of go from there. There's a fuel filter on there that also looks good, but the gas looks a little yeller. It's probably not too bad. Okay, let me start pulling this apart. we got the airbox cover off. These two bolts back here, 10mm head, easiest two bolts you'll get to on the whole cart. The two that hold the airbox to the carburetor, however, are really tight in there, so you're going to have to experiment a little bit. I ended up using a deep socket 3/8 drive and a ratchet on this one. This one here, a long 12mm wrench, box end, until I got it loose enough to go by hand. That's the way it's going to have to go back on too. So you got these two pins here. So pull the pin out of the pin, and then reinstall the pin back on the cable. Put the pin back in it. Same with this, so you don't lose them. So we'll pull these two off. The carburetor's probably not as dirty as the rest of the engine. Maybe not. Probably been off of there. We'll see. Yeah, so it is loose. It will come off. Okay, so I'm going to pull those pins. We're going to pull that carburetor off. Then we're going to peek at it. We're going to also check out, see what spark plugs in this thing. And I've preached this quite a bit because I've seen it many times, that someone will put the wrong plug in something in it, thinking they did good, or it was just one number off or something like that. And then you buy something like this and you go, okay, the plug that was in it was a XYZ123, and then you go to the auto parts store and you get another XYZ123, and you put the same wrong plug back in your engine. So look it up, see what it's supposed to be. I know I've done that. This is the third Yamaha gas cart I guess I've worked on, and I purchased the correct spark plugs, and so I have some in stock. I just don't remember what they are called. So we'll look it up, we'll get the right number, we'll go out to the shed and grab a correct plug, unless that is a new one. And with the new air filter, the new oil, all that stuff, might be a new plug. But is it the right plug? We'll find out. Let me get this carburetor off there just like I explained. We'll pull the bowl off of it, see what we got. Here we go. All right, carburetor is off. What do you think it looks like in there? Place your bets. There's a little stuff going on there. Not too bad. Not too bad. Needle and seat were working fine. Let's see if we can get that pivot pin out of there. Be real careful with those, you'll ruin the carburetor. Oh boy. I think it's tapered. This looks like the tall side. Oh boy. You can get aftermarket carburetors for these. I think the last one I cleaned and it was good. Oh boy. That's not going to be fun. But you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I don't think needle and seat are an issue. Let me look for this particular screwdriver. See if we can get that jet out. Again, we'll spray this with carb cleaner without getting the jet out if it won't come easily. I think we're golden. It's coming out of there. Are you done out of there yet? Oh no, that's not turning. Holy smokes! Alright, it's not broke. Don't fix it. Everything in here is tight as can be. Oh my goodness. Wow! Alright, know when to say when. I don't have a carburetor to replace this. I don't know why they're so tight. There's no reason for that. Let's get some carb cleaner and spray this out just the way it is. Should be a good time to find you some safety glasses if you aren't already wearing them. Flowing freely. Let's catch that main jet. Also flowing freely. Now then, let's peek into this. Make sure, yeah, it's not, it doesn't have a hole in it. It doesn't flow through this. Some of them do, and I'm not savvy enough to know which ones do and which ones don't. Because they'd have a hole on the sides and a hole down the center. This one draws its fuel from this side, etc. But just to be sure, I'm going to grab a little drill bit on this guy and make sure there's nothing in there. Drill bit. Yeah, nothing in there. I'm going to make sure the vent tube is clear. Okay. Well, now then, there's this little idle jet thing. Usually I just pry these things off of there. If I can get under it. Oh, come on now. There it is. Let me figure out how I'm gonna tell how many turns that's out. Right, it's got two flat sides on it, so we can now count turns. 1/2, 1, no, 1/2, 1, so just under 2, so 1 3/4 turn out. 1 3/4. It was dirty. my glasses on. It's the last thing I need, that stuff in my eyes. You can see the spray right in there. You can see it spray. Well, it's as clean as we can get it without, ruining it, trying to pull jets out. But they all are clear. So let's reassemble. So let's stick this thing back in its little hole. We got to go all the way tight. Back it out 1 3/4 turns. And if whatever doesn't work, we'll order a new one. One half, 1, 1 1/2, 1 3/4. All right. Carb looked a lot cleaner inside than I thought it was gonna. Alright, ready to reinstall. Boys and girls, it is the next day. I only have a little while. My wife wants to go to see a movie, so we're going to go do that. But we're going to test the battery because I charged it all night. It's fully charged. And we're using my BM560 battery analyzer. So, BM580, my bad. I've used this thing a ton. My wife's battery, well, it went dead on her the other day. She has a 2019 Kia Soul with 15,000 miles on it, and she called me. She goes, "You got to come pick me up, take me somewhere. My battery's dead." I go, "Your battery's dead?" Well, it is 5 years old, I guess. So anyway, I took her to where she needed to go. Put my charger on the battery till it said it was fully charged, and then put my meter on it, realized it had 40% state of health. So that told me I need to replace her battery, and I did. So got her battery replaced, and then I've never tested this battery, so we're hooking up the cables now. We are going to test it. The battery says right on the top that it is 700 cold cranking amps, which is unbelievably huge for a little engine like this. But anyway, so we're going to go through this menu real quick here. It just says check. Yep. It's 12 volt. Scroll down. Check. In the vehicle. Yes. And it's a battery test. Yep, because you can do other tests, right? Yep. Please confirm that the engine is turned off. Yeah, you don't want to do this while it's running. Okay, it is definitely off. And it's a regular flooded battery. It's not AGM or anything like that, far as I can tell. But I have no idea how old it is. So I'm hoping that it's like 70% or above, and we'll run it. But you never know. So let's see. Regular flooded, yes. We're going to check cold cranking amps, yes. And 640, that's what my wife's battery was, because it maintains the last whatever I programmed this thing to read. So her battery was 640 cold cranking amps. This one is 700, so we're going to scroll up to 700, click OK, and we're going to let it test. Oh my star, state of health is 100%. That is a perfectly good battery. So it is 700 cranking amps, but it tests at 839 cranking amps. Do you see that? You know what? I'm going to take the battery out of this golf cart and put it in my shop truck because my battery in there isn't this good. I'm sure I've got something around here that's also really good, but that is substantial overkill for a under 400 cc engine, and it is 100. It's more than, it tests more than 100% good. 839 cranking amps is what it tests. A meter like this is fantastic. I just use it all the time. I mean, every month I've used it for something. I went and tested Carter Patterson Racing had a couple race batteries. I went and tested them for them, and it turned out that the one they had in their race car and their spare, which was new old stock in the box, it was carried as a spare for years. Neither one of them tested real good. And so anyway, they replaced the battery. It's the last thing you need in the middle of a race, is not to have a decent battery, and it costs you positions or cost you a race. So anyway, very, very good thing to have. They are not expensive. I do have a video on this. Go find it in my channel, and there's a link in that video to Amazon to get you one. Okay, great little machines. Again, I just use them all the time, and I'm not above buying used batteries on Marketplace, but I've been stung before. Luckily, they were real inexpensive batteries, and I used them as a core anyway, but not with my new machine. With this, if I go buy a used battery, I bring this and test it before I buy it. So a lot of wrecking yards will sell you batteries for 30, 40 bucks, which would be great if it's a good battery, but how do you know? You can't tell by looking. Get you a meter, take it in, test the battery before you buy it. Okay, we're going to pull the spark plug out of this thing, and we are going to make sure it is the plug it's supposed to have. Okay, so let me get some tools. Here we go. All right, 13/16 socket it is. Yep, brand new plug. But is it the right plug? Uh-oh. What in the world is this? I do not recognize the brand of this plug. Therefore, it goes in the trash. Let me go get a decent NGK spark plug for this golf cart. I do not know what this is. It might be shiny, but this thing runs like crap. And we don't trust this stuff, all right? All right, out in the shed. This is the plug, BPR4ES, and I was a good boy, and I bought a box of 4 of them last time I ordered some, so I got them. Let's go get one in. And girls, it is the next day. I got that correct spark plug installed, and let's put the carburetor on. I just put it on with a couple nuts to hold it, and we'll get the thing restarted. Make sure it runs correctly. I don't believe we had any issues with the carburetor itself. I think our issues were with this weird spark plug. I don't know why people put those in. You buy those cheap kits on the internet. It comes with those no-name plugs, and yeah, they just ain't worth it. Almost cost me a sale of a John Deere one day. I put one of those torch plugs in because it came with a kit, and I never even actually cut grass or anything with that tractor. I only started it a few times here at the shop, and when the buyer actually came for it, it wouldn't start at all. And I was like pulling teeth here. I'm like, man, everything is new on this thing. Well, that was my first and last experience with one of those cheapy Chinese spark plugs. I went and grabbed a correct plug off the shelf, put it in there, the thing fired right up. I mean, never turned twice. It was, anyway, don't use them. Don't use them. Okay, I'm going to slide this carburetor back on, put the linkage back on, and we're going to fire this thing back up. Again, correct spark plug, clutch done. Get the carburetor on there. Oh, you know what? I got to clean this fuel system first, too. It's first thing in the morning here. And I need to drain all this gas out because that gas could be old, could have water in it. There's a tiny little bit of dirt we can swab out of there. So let me deal with that first. Before we fire it up, I'll just slide this carb on there. Go from there. Just a little bit of fuel in there. Here we go. Guys, I used this electric pump set up for emptying fuel tanks and such, hooked up to a battery. I got a filter in line with it, so anything I pump out of there I could use. There was like 2.5 gallons in there. I thought it was just like a little bit at the bottom, but I filled those 2 of the 3 oil cans. One of those is a 5-quart, and then half the other one. So there was a lot of fuel in there. So anyway, I took some paper towels and my little flexi screwdriver thing and went down in the bottom, just kind of sopped everything up best I could, and then I put a couple gallons of non-ethanol fuel back in it, finished putting the carburetor back on with the exception of the air box, and then got it running, and it seems to run better. I'm not sure if it's perfect or not. It seems a little lean for the moment. However, I don't have the air cleaner assembly on, and that will be next. I think that will solve that and she'll be running great. I've got it pretty warm because I need to fix this boot right here. It's been pulled off of there, so I think I'll pull that boot off. I'm going to do some just general cleanup on the engine just to make it presentable. We'll put the air box back on and then fire it up again, and it's really a blustery day out there. I don't know if we'll take it out for a test drive or not, but we'll see. Anyway, we're certainly making progress. Here we go. All right, we got it all cleaned up, got air cleaner assembly all put back, and it did fix its little run issue. It was just a little bit lean before, but it's doing good now. I don't know if it'll start without the choke or not. Let's find out. Yeah, there we go. Sweet. Okay, we got it. I am going to steal that battery. I've got other smaller batteries around here. That sucker tested yesterday at 825 cranking amps. I'm putting that in my shop truck because it needs a battery. And the ones I had I felt were a little small for that, but even these little guys are 640 cranking amps, and it's pretty good. Anyway, I'm going to charge it up to 100%. Oh, I think it's done. Yeah, it's done charging. So it was good. It's just been sitting around for a little bit. So I'm going to put that battery in here before I pull it off the lift. I tried to grease that Zerk fitting on that new clutch. And every tip I tried was too large. Outside diameter was too large. So I've ordered those little needles, which I never had. My dad had one when I was a kid. Never had to use for one till now. But anyway, I need to grease this clutch. And I put a new clutch in that machine as well. And need to grease that one. So what else I'm going to do with this? Oh, I forgot to plug in the vent on the air cleaner box. Let's do that before I forget again. It's visible from the other side, not so much from this side. Oh yeah, man, that's hard on my fingers. There we go. There we go. Yeah, and then you know what's next? Two things got to happen with this machine coming up on next videos. One, I need to sit down and order today. I want to do seat upholstery and a steering wheel on this guy. I think I already told you. I'm going to put wheels and tires on that machine, set the wheels, tires, hubcaps that are on there in a stack, and take these and figure out a full set of the best tires, hopefully all four match, and put the best tires I got on this one, clean up those hubcaps, put those on, and then detail this machine out. Take the Herbie numbers off. That one's painted on. The others I think are decals. Yeah, decals. We'll get those off of there. We'll get this thing polished up, get the black kind of restored, and this machine's going to be pretty much done, ready to go. Yeah, ready to go for an undisclosed where it's going, but it's going to be fun. All right, I think we're going to end this video here. Let me take care of these little things. We'll move on to that cart and get the wheels and tires on in a separate video, because those are going to look cool. And then I hopefully have parts coming this week for the red one, and we'll get on that one as well. Yeah, awesome. Okay, progress has been made. This thing is mechanically good to go. Guys, thanks for watching the video. Please give it a thumbs up on the way out. Comment below. I check comments absolutely for sure every single morning, including this morning. If you want to comment on this project, any other project, tell me what you're doing. I don't care. I will talk to you in the morning in the comment section, and we'll see you on the next video.